listening to the FullyCrypto podcast.
You are indeed listening to the FullyCrypto podcast, the home of quality blockchain and cryptocurrency news, reviews, opinion, and more. My name is Mark Hunter, and I'm here with my regular co-host, Alex Mears. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, I'm good. Cheers. How are you doing, mate?
Very good, thanks. Very good. How's the weird and wide world of crypto treating you this week?
It's been very good, I must say. Digibyte was pumping quite nicely this week.
All on the back of literally on the back of some cricket shirts.
Yeah, I'm gonna claim that was my doing. I mean, someone has to, don't they?
It's good. It's all good for crypto adoption. Gets it out there, doesn't it?
No, exactly. I mean, there's been some other good news as well for Digibyte this week. They signed a partnership deal with Change Angel. I think Change Angel become their platinum sponsor now.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's great to see. There's a lot going on with them.
Excellent stuff. Excellent.
Yeah, how's it doing for you this week?
Yeah, not too bad. I wasn't aware. I don't know how much you've caught up on this, but there's another. I shouldn't be surprised by this, but I wasn't aware of it. Another internal Bitcoin Cash row, and it's going to lead to a fork. This completely bypassed me.
Oh, another Bitcoin Cash fork. Okay, I saw Calvin Air was going off on one the other day.
Well, he usually does.
Yeah, he does.
But it's normally because I've got the real Bitcoin. Oh, Calvin, shut up.
Yeah, he was going on about his hash war.
Oh God! You know, I every now and again I do look at his Twitter feed, but it just it depresses me and annoys me so much that I can't go back to it. I can only do it in small doses, and I've not checked up recently.
Yeah, I mean, just the way he surrounds himself by all those hookers. I mean, little ego.
No, they are.
Come on,
they're his friends. They're his friends.
Yeah, some of them don't look old enough to be his friends.
Well, yeah, they could be his daughter's friends, to be fair, but let's not go into that. But no, apparently there's, I don't know much about this. I'm going to do some more research, but there is another internal war within Bitcoin Cash that's leading to a fork at some point, which might explain why the price is going up a little bit. But I don't know if you'd caught up on that. But I'm sure that's something we'll talk about later in the week.
Yeah, I can't wait to learn more about that. I'm going to read about that as soon as we're finished here.
Well, we were going to do another one of our what will hopefully become regular news kind of catch-ups. But why don't you tell everyone what happened yesterday?
Oh, well, I was eating my lunch and I get a nice little email from Big Boss Alex B. And someone claims they're going to be taking you to court because you are a rude person that says horrible, mean things about projects that is untrue.
Yeah, so we got an email through to FullyCrypto Towers addressed to me personally, accusing me of various crimes, gross defamation of character. So this all came about because back in March I came across this company called Meta One, who I'd never heard of them before, and I'm sure, thinking back now, I'm sure I came across them because they were going through this SEC action. The SEC had taken them to court and tried to freeze funds and this sort of thing. And I looked into them a bit, and I was led to the white paper, as you should always do with anything that looks like it could be a scam. You go to the white paper, and I can't quite express the range of emotions I felt looking through and reading this white paper. It's incredible. It's an incredible piece of fiction. It's absolutely stunning. And so I wrote a piece called "Is Meta OneCoin the World's Worst White Paper?" Spoiler alert, it is. It sat there for months and months doing nothing, and then suddenly, out of the blue, it seems that this chap, is it Robert Dunlap or Richard Dunlap? I think it's Robert, isn't it?
Someone Dunlap.
It's Robert Dunlap. He is the kind of the head honcho of Meta One. He has taken gross offence to this article I wrote all these months ago. He has sent the same email he sent to us out to various other publications and outlets who have just for reporting on the case. He seems to be a very tightly wound individual, and he in the Craig Wright mold, it seems, and he has just been going off, accusing us of all these things. He said, "Your article is gross defamation of character and action will be made if it's not pulled down within 24 hours. He claims that if we were to do any due diligence, we would know it was a fictitious story fabricated by the SEC in order to make all digital assets look fraudulent. he suggests we phone the SEC and get them to say the case has been sealed. It hasn't been sealed. It's ongoing. I don't know where he's got that from. He says that the reason why the case was sealed is due to Meta One Coin Trust's legal superiority in the entire digital asset space. Do you know what that means?
I think it means that someone's been hit in the head a bit too many times.
I don't understand legal.
It doesn't make sense. I'm not a lawyer, but
he's trying to say they're legally superior to every other coin in the crypto space.
And the SEC.
Yeah, and how has he tested this? I don't understand. But it gets better when he can fully assure us that his statements are true and his legal abilities are not something we will be able to defend.
Yeah, I mean, what is he? Is he got like Sauron's army and he's gonna come and attack us like he's some sort of evil villain from Mordor?
Well, you might think that because that says at the end, it will. I will. Basically, if we didn't take action within 24 hours, he will decimate FullyCrypto. So if you're going to want anyone to decimate anything, Sauron's your man, I would have thought.
It is. I mean, it's been a lot more than 24 hours and we're fine.
Yeah.
We're still up. We're still going.
I'm still going. Unless my gin and tonic's been poisoned, I'm doing absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So we got this ludicrous email through, and I fired off a reply. You saw the email, a fairly caustic and sarcastic reply.
This is
to his
the
email.
best reply to an email I've ever seen in my life. I was crying with laughter. I laughed. I had tears down my face. It was brilliant.
I replied in the same spirit with which I was emailed in the first place, and he, needless to say, hasn't replied, and he seems to have kind of gone away. So rather than doing the usual news thing we were going to do, I thought it would be fun to go through the reasons why I think it's the worst white paper in the world and have a damn good laugh at this, because it's just all we'll have to do is just go through and explain even little bits of this. People will realize why this is such a scam and question how on earth anybody was fooled into giving money over to this project. Does that sound appealing?
I love it. I can't wait. I mean, if you've handed money over to these guys, like, give me your number so I can call you, because I need money too.
If you are listening to this because you're a victim of the ICO and you've been scammed out of your money, I really hope this teaches you a lesson to not buy into anything that sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, if it sounds too good to be true, just avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, exactly. What I originally wanted to do was actually read through the entire white paper, because you really could spend about 4 hours reading through it and just deconstructing it bit by bit, but it's 58 pages long. Well, I should explain, actually. The white paper that I reviewed back in March was 58 pages long, and it seems that in doing our researches for this podcast, you've come across a newer one.
Yeah, a fresh one. It's 43 pages long. It's been adjusted a bit. They've made Nikola Tesla, Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, and Chief Joseph Goodcane Milk look rather gay with rainbow flags.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll come to the reasons why we think they've done that later on, but it seems that they have had they've taken some information, some feedback on board from some parties, potentially me, potentially the SEC, and they have changed a few things on there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the original white paper that I reviewed, because I think it's going to be interesting to see the difference between the two and see what they've changed. And just because bear in mind, this was the white paper that got people to invest $4.3 million into this project. And that is a staggering thing in itself. But we'll go through this one, just picking out some of the finer points of it, and then we can compare with the earlier one. So there will be bits I'm going to read out verbatim, because you can't get better than the source material. But there'll be some bits I'm summarizing. So what I'm going to do, I'll just go through a bit about the project first of all. It launched in March 2018. They launched the ICO in March 2018. So this project promises a security token based on the holdings of gold or fine art. They don't say and, they say or. It's so vague. So
It's
they say
a
it's this,
very careful choice of word, that. You don't pick or over and just randomly or because your English is
No.
poor. That's a careful decision.
We don't know which one we've got. So it's either based on a $1 billion holding of art or a $2 billion holding of gold. So that's what the security token is based on. It has its own blockchain called the Metatronic Network. This blockchain is not mentioned, the Metatronic Network is not mentioned anymore in the white paper. All we know is that it is a quote-unquote Satoshi-based delegated proof-of-stake consensus mechanism.
Yeah, that's just one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life. What the hell is that?
The way they put it in quotes is like the well-known Satoshi-based delegated proof-of-stake. But then it says, it throws in as a little afterthought, throws in it's built on Solidity, which is the Ethereum language. So is it your own blockchain or is it built on Ethereum? It's immediately unclear. They also have an exchange for cryptocurrencies, fiat currencies, gold and silver. They have real-time credit cards provided for users to convert crypto to US dollars and euros. A Meta Investment Bank, which is a bridge between the legacy banking system and the new blockchain banking system of the future. And the investment bank has its own debit card and app for spending.
Yeah, I mean, sounds a bit like crypto.com if it was a big scam.
How can one project deliver all that? I mean, it's like we said earlier, it's built to entice people in. It's built to brainwash people into thinking this is the best thing since sliced bread. And I'd imagine people that have never had any exposure to crypto.
Yeah, exactly. If you've never been in crypto, this is the first time you've seen anything crypto related. Maybe it might sound like a good idea, but Jesus.
You've got an idea of what this coin promises to deliver. So let me just read through how they envisage the tokenomics working. The coin value will automatically increase based on new fine art assignment to the Meta One Coin Trust. This contract is defined as 9 times the asset value plus the original asset value divided by the fixed number of coins, 450 million, equaling the increased coin value per coin.
Were you speaking English there?
I'll read it again and see if, going slower, we can work it out.
Okay.
The coin value will automatically increase based on fine art assignment to the Meta One Coin Trust. Okay, I get that principle. They're going to keep buying in art to prop up the value of the token.
Yeah.
That's pretty standard. Okay.
Yeah.
This contract, what contract, is defined as 9 times the asset value plus the original asset value. So this contract, let's say they've brought in a painting worth $1 million. So this contract is worth $9 million plus the original value,
Yeah,
1 million.
10.
So we've got $10 million divided by the fixed number of coins, 450 million.
I got my calculator ready.
First, you got 10 million
Yeah.
divided by 450 million.
Divided by 450 million. That is 0.02 recurring.
So that is how much the coin value has gone up because they've bought in this piece of art.
Okay, yeah. So they bought $9 million worth or $1 million worth of art.
Yeah.
And it increased their coin by 0.002. What? $0.002?
I don't know. But also, they've just multiplied the value of the artwork by 9.
Yeah, where did they get that from?
I have no idea. They don't say. Baffling. So it seems to me that's the principle. So if you've been able to do that with a calculator, find me a calculator that can do this. Contracts are as follows. Art asset $1 billion, and this value will be divided by a number such as 52 weeks. Then the smart contract divides the market value of the asset, $1 billion divided by 52 weeks, equals $19,230,769 per week of assets assigned to the Meta One coin. This amount will be added to the coin appreciation contract. Then the coin appreciation contract will increase the Meta One coin value as contracted. The art value smooth allocation contract will be using new and chosen art assets and can be assigned to the art purchased in processing contract. This will show investors that the new art asset is in process and that Meta One will slowly infuse value into the Meta One coin by running the art value smooth allocation contract.
That's just a lot of technical gubbins that I think it's just designed to confuse you and throw you off. You're supposed to read the first sentence, think, oh, that's a lot of money, this is a good coin. And that's it. That's where you're supposed to stop.
It purposefully doesn't make sense. But what I don't understand is it's so confusing that stupid people won't understand it. And that there's a fine line because you need to make it complicated enough to sound impressive, but
Mhm.
easy enough so people don't have to work things out for themselves. Whereas what I think they've done there, they've just overshot it by a country mile. You can't read that and think, well, I don't understand, but it sounds good, because you don't know what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not the most intelligent person on the planet, but I'm not stupid, and it doesn't make any sense to me. I've been doing this, been reading white papers for many years now, and this just still does not make any sense whatsoever.
No. I mean, divided by a number such as 52 weeks. What?
Yeah, why 52 weeks? That's not a number.
I don't know. Now you're dividing by a year? Where's this
Yeah,
come from?
they're dividing by a length of time, and how? Why?
It's just baffling. It's just baffling. So that, I mean, that is their explanation of how it's all going, of the inner workings of their system. They do break it down a little bit later, which is where I think this is where the people who are going to buy into these things will suddenly, the light bulb will go off. So they're essentially saying that by buying in all this art, which will, they think, forever accumulate in price, the token price will go up as well. In our pro forma financial projections, the coin will increase in value by approximately $22.22 a coin per 1 billion in asset assignment. When Meta One Coin Trust reaches $1 trillion in value, the original purchasers of the coin can expect over 1,000 times the return on initial investment. Meta One Coin is backed by surety bonds and art as collateral, and the participants are always protected. So that's your fishing rod. That's your line gone in with the bait, hasn't it?
Yes, I mean, that's sort of saying, okay, you're going to make 1,000% returns or 1,000 times your money back. You know, you're going to want to just jump straight in on that, aren't you?
Yeah, and I mean I think that's where they can get away with all the technical stuff, because it's like, here's the technical stuff. If that's too complicated for you, all you've got to know is this.
Yeah.
It's going to go up by 1,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what the big problem is with this. They promise these sort of things and they don't explain how or why. They're saying it's a definite guarantee of return.
There's no market where the value of the asset goes up forever. It just doesn't happen. And the thing is as well that it's all well and good saying that that the value of your token is going to increase because we're buying all this stuff that has this intrinsic value. But surely, I mean, you can get your painting valued, but the valuation is based on its what it will sell for. So surely you can only physically attribute the value to the token once it sells, because otherwise you're sitting on a prospective price, aren't you?
Exactly. It's not guaranteed. I mean, if someone doesn't want to pay that much money for it on the day, they're not going to pay it. You know, maybe they're in a
Yeah.
bad mood that they want to pay 50 million, they want to pay 40. You've just lost 10 million.
What happens if that painting fetches a quarter of the value? Is a token going to reduce by a quarter of that painting's price? I doubt it.
Exactly. It doesn't cover what happens if it goes to market and sells for a lesser price than they believe it's worth.
Yeah. And I mean, this is glossing over the fact that these guys say they've got a $1 billion art collection.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see this. Who are they? The Louvre?
You can't just take on face value that these guys have got a $1 billion art collection. You'd know about it. You know, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think anyone that has $1 billion worth of art is not doing a cryptocurrency ICO.
No, they're sitting in their mansion looking at their $1 billion worth of art.
Exactly. They're pondering which boat to buy next week.
Yeah, and if they are doing this, they're hiring better writers and better graphic artists. This is the other thing as well, actually.
Exactly.
This is the thing, is that you are aiming this, right? You are targeting fine art, well, in theory, fine art aficionados. And if you're not the top level, people who understand to some extent the art world. Those people tend to be university educated or equivalent. They know a bit about the finer things in life. Those people are not going to pick up this piece of garbage, read through it and think, yeah, I know a bit about fine art. This sounds like a good deal.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you pick up this, if you're that sort of person with that sort of background, you're going to expect something a lot more high quality, something with bespoke graphics that does not look like it's from a kid's book or from clip art. You'll want custom designed images. You want the English to make sense. You want the punctuation, the grammar to be perfect. And this is far from it. This is far from someone that says, oh, I got $1 billion worth of art. Because if you've got $1 billion worth of art, God knows what else you've got. You've got $1 billion worth of other property, assets, and crap. So what are these? Is it Bill Gates?
He's also said he may or may not have $2 billion worth of gold. Don't forget that.
No, that's true. I mean, he lives at Fort Knox as well.
It's nuts. It's nuts. So
It's
anyway,
Goldfinger.
that's the concept that they are pushing. So moving on to the thankfully sparse technical side. I mean, the other thing to say is that this white paper is 58 pages long. This original white paper is 58 pages long. They repeat themselves literally. I mean, I've put it in the article I wrote. They are copy and paste pages from earlier into later on. There's no trying to get around it, fiddle with words. They copy and paste in 3 or 4 different sections. And they just they explain the same thing over and over again. Like this, they just try and tell the same point in a different way. It's so vast. It smacks of desperation, to be honest with you.
But I believe it's page 10 where they do actually repeat themselves. They've cut and
You
pasted.
found it?
Yeah.
Yeah, page 10, fairly early on. So anyway, that's a kind of bigger point. But going onto the blockchain, so you'd think then that this is going to have to be. They say they've got a blockchain, this Metatronic blockchain. So this, apart from I think it's mentioned at the very very start, but it's well over halfway through before there's any mention of the blockchain itself, apart from our fantastic Satoshi-based delegated proof of stake that may be on Ethereum and maybe not. But it says, all smart contract software which Meta One has developed are built using Solidity and EVM, which is the Ethereum virtual machine. EVM, Satoshi-based blockchain virtual machine, which can be decoupled from Satoshi-based blockchain public network and plugged into any other consensus mechanism. So what he seems to be saying is that let's pretend for a second he knows what he's talking about, and this is an Ethereum blockchain or some kind of DPoS blockchain. He's suggesting you can take this delegated proof of stake blockchain and plug it in to another kind of consensus mechanism.
Yeah, you can't just pick it up and go, like, okay, we're going to do this one, this one, this one, and this one at the same time.
It sounds like he's trying to impress people, but the people he's targeting aren't going to be impressed by that. Like, it's not going to impress people that know about it, and it's not going to impress people that don't know about it. So why has he said this?
He's gone for the middle ground, hasn't he? The people that they pretend to know about it, but really don't know about it. You know, the sort of people who have done the Coursera course on blockchain technology. You know, they smash it all over the LinkedIn profile. Oh, I did a blockchain technology course with Coursera. Let's
work on the assumption then that he is using the Ethereum blockchain, or he's trying to pass it off as his own, whatever the case may be. When we come to transactions per second, this is where it gets a bit Superman, because Ethereum can do between 10 and 30 transactions per second, roughly. Obviously, with the Ethereum 2.0, they're hoping to scale that up dramatically, but at the moment, between 10 and 30. Visa does about 1,700 transactions per second. The highest, I think this is still theoretical, the highest theoretical transactions per second, as far as I'm aware, that any blockchain can do. Hashgraph can do 10,000, and there's claims from Solana that they can do 29,000 transactions per second. Meta One claim that their Metatronic blockchain can already achieve 500,000 transactions per second.
That is a lot. What do you even need that for?
The idea of this project is it's going to be a bank and an exchange and fine art, you know, this, that, and the other. So the idea is they want to create this empire, and he seems to think that 500,000 transactions per second is not only needed but feasible already now on the Ethereum network, apparently.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, besides okay, let's say it is possible. Let's say you can have 500,000 transactions a second. What would be the point? What would be the purpose? If you look at Visa and MasterCard, they're global leaders. You know, they're quite happy with less than 2,000 transactions a second.
Yeah, they don't need more than that to power most of the world's purchases.
Exactly, there's no need for it, let alone this crappy art network. I mean, what are you planning to do with your coins?
I don't know. I reckon he's basically thought, right, we're going to try and pretend to take over the world, therefore we need to have a blockchain that can do it. I mean, again, I'm looking back, you pick up certain clues in these kind of things. So do you remember when he was talking about his projection for the coin value? It was $22.22.
Yeah, that's very specific.
Very specific. So he's got $22.22 for his coin price, and then he's got just plucked 500,000 out of the air. No mention of testing or this or that. Oh, yeah, 500,000, that'll do. We'll chuck that in.
Yeah, I mean, the most worrying thing for me, there's no technical information here. There's no,
Nothing.
this is how it works.
Nothing.
Like in a normal white paper explains these things. This
Right.
just...
And if you have broken the record, if you have smashed the record for transactions per second, you fucking tell people about it. You don't keep it quiet and throw it away in a 58-page white paper and then not make reference to how you've done it.
Exactly. That'll be all over the news,
Of course
even
it
the
would.
mainstream media, CNN, BBC, they'd all be gobbling it up. They'd be like, oh, this is the fastest transaction network in the world. Everyone should be using it.
Yeah. And he just casually chucks it in. And again, I don't think it's mentioned once after that. If it is mentioned, it's because he's copied and pasted. But
Yeah,
yeah.
he didn't even bold it.
No.
Like, that's the biggest thing of this this whole project.
I know.
If this project was amazing for one thing, it's the transactions per second.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's mentioned it on one line on page 40.
Yeah.
That should be on the front cover. We can do 500,000 transactions a second.
Exactly. Again, that's the kind of thing. Even people that know nothing about blockchains, that's a big number. That's going to get people excited. But again, just dumps it in there and says nothing about it. So you asked, what is it going to be? This 500,000 transactions per second, what are they going to be powering? I can tell you, by virtue of the plethora of smart contracts, this guy's got more smart contracts than Calvin Ayre's got teenage girls in his apartment. Right. Let me run through all the different smart contracts that are in this whole thing. Art purchased in processing smart contract, art verification smart contract, new asset assignment contract, coin appreciation smart contract, art value smooth allocation smart contract, art value smart contract. So that's a short list. We've also got a smart contract that ensures a token cannot be sold for less than the corresponding total asset value. And finally, a smart contract that ensures that only humans can buy tokens.
Oh, sorry, robots. I mean, my little robotic vacuum cleaner really wants some of these tokens. I might get it some for its birthday. I mean, am I breaking his rules?
It's just crazy. Rules, where we're going, we don't need rules. I mean, all these things, it's complete rubbish. It just I say about repeating itself, these smart contracts repeat themselves. Apparently, it's all part of the process that aren't coming in, being valued, going out. It all needs a smart contract. But glossing over all the different smart contracts that are part of this platform, a smart contract that ensures that a token cannot be sold for less than the corresponding total asset value. So apparently, if you sell their token on any exchange, he has got a smart contract that won't let you sell it for less than its current kind of native value. How does that work? How is he going to say to an exchange, oh yeah, I'd like this exchange to have the market price for my token, but it can't ever go under this?
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's placing a sell order in the book like 10 years down the line.
It's just, I mean, if he's only ever going to exchange the token through his exchange, then of course he can do whatever he wants. It will be illegal, but he can do it until he gets arrested. But the whole principle that he won't let people sell the token for less than it's worth is just, I mean, it's illegal, full stop, isn't it? There's no other word for it.
Yeah.
And then this little bit about the humans, I thought I'd throw that in there. There's a lovely little paragraph that explains what the hell he's talking about. Living, breathing humans can buy Meta One coin. Corporate fictions, non-living entities, are not allowed to buy Meta One coin. Meta One coin is a coin for humanity and needs to stay in possession of humanity. This smart contract is enforced by biometric authentication into the system's Know Your Client procedures and programmatic verification of user accounts.
So is he gonna like scan my blood to make sure I can open my wallet?
I have no idea. The first bit, that living, breathing humans can buy and corporate fictions can't. I don't know what is a corporate fiction. Don't even know what that is. Is that what we are?
We are. FullyCrypto is, according to his
No,
email.
we're state sponsored. Is that the same thing? No, it's a different thing. We're state sponsored.
Yeah, different
But
thing.
I mean, so he's somehow going to prevent companies from buying his coin. How? I don't know. But as you say, The smart contracts is enforced by biometric authentication biometric authentication at the know your client stage, which is the onboarding stage of. So when you're signing up for his project, when you're signing up for his Goliath, you have to from wherever you are in the world, send in some blood, send in a semen sample, send in some fingerprints, like how.
Yeah, you got to do something physically, don't you?
How do you do that at the know your client stage? I don't know about you, but when I've done KYC recently, I flash my passport, I scan it in, and within about a minute they've accepted it or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you got to take a picture with your passport on the super picky ones, but that's about it. I mean, what does he want? Am I going to have to go to the doctor and get them to take some blood, verify it's me with notaries?
I don't know. It's you know what? It would be worrying if it wasn't horseshit. Luckily, it's complete horseshit, so it's not a concern. But I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, if it was Binance thing, I'd be a little scared.
I don't know why you would need to add that in. Like, when you're making up a scam, there's various ways you can discuss the security aspects. But why throw biometric in there? I mean, it sounds impressive.
I guess it's just another buzzword, isn't it? It makes you think, oh, this is extra secure.
I've picked out some key quotes from the rest of this this complete pile of garbage, just because it just reinforces the rubbish that this is talking about. The legacy monetary systems have been replaced with smart contracts and blockchain to monetize humanity's finest works as the security for the new conveyance of wealth in the form of incorruptible Satoshi-based blockchains such as Bitcoin and Litecoin, offering the variety of oh god, it just goes on and on.
It waffles and waffles. He's not using punctuation half the time.
No, again, it repeats and repeats. I'll pick out just a few other great examples. I won't keep going on. I'll bore you to tears. Meta One is a vehicle that removes users from the debt slavery of the old Federal Reserve notes. The expansion of Meta One coin will reach trillions of dollars in market value while providing coin holders a proper medium of exchange. The debt slavery.
Yeah, that's impossible.
But you see now why he needs half a million transactions per second. If you're going to go around freeing people from the debt slavery of the old Federal Reserve note, you need a bloody fast blockchain.
Oh, he is. I mean, he's going to need a lot more than 500,000 transactions a second if he's going to do that.
All the banks in the world.
There's a lot of slavery.
It's just nuts. It's just nuts. And so this is another thing he says. Once the initial coin offering raises a set amount of funds, doesn't say what it is, Meta One Coin Trust will acquire additional billion-dollar art collections. Okay, so if you're going to do an ICO to raise money to buy $1 billion worth of art, how much do you think you're looking to raise in the ICO?
$1 billion plus auction house fees. So what's that? Maybe $2 billion just to be safe.
They raised $4.3 million. Which in itself is impressive given what we've discussed, but the fact they were after $1 billion and got 4.3 million, I mean, that most projects can have a hard cap and they can get a bit below but still function. If you have set your heart on $1 billion, what percentage is 4.3 million of $1 billion? Like you're suddenly working with 99 point whatever reduced capital, and yet it's fine. I'll just go and get it.
Yeah, it's like 0.4 or something.
So that's what you've raised. That's what your working capital is now. But you're still like, it doesn't matter. I'll still go and do it.
Well, that's the thing. He's not even reported he's gone out and bought $4 million worth of art.
No. Oh, I'm sure we'll come to where their money went.
I'd forgive him, I'd be like, you know what? Fair play, lad. You've got your money. You didn't get $1 billion. But you got 4 million. That'll do. Let's go and buy one painting. Because at least you've done it, haven't you?
No.
He's not even done it. I've got a Barnfather's hanging up in the hallway if he wants to buy that from me for 4 mil.
That's crazy. This is okay. So going on to their other avenues. Additionally, Meta Exchange has acquired an equity position in a bank that is in the proper jurisdiction and will have the abilities to receive and send unlimited amounts of fiat currencies, thus ensuring adequate liquidity is available to the marketplace. So they now own a bank. He owns part of a bank, apparently.
Well, if he's going to send unlimited funds, then there must be unlimited funds to play with in the first place. So what's he got? Like, does he own the USA? He is the Federal Reserve.
He is what he wants to destroy. Oh, it's very Shakespearean. But he's I mean, he says he's bought this equity position in a bank that allows them to receive and send unlimited amounts of fiat currencies. That's what banks do. Banks are for sending and receiving. There's nothing to boast about. He wants to get rid of banks, but he's bought a bank and he's boasting about what they can do. So come on, mate. Which side are you on?
Well, maybe that's how he's going to get rid of banks. He's going to buy them all. And he's going to run them into the ground with his poor business decisions.
Put it past him.
Oops, I killed every bank, so I'll just make my own new one. Here we go, boys.
Jesus. Okay, and now we get on to a very strange side of this that I should have seen coming, but I didn't see coming to the extent that it does. Right. Oh, God. Meta One coin is a currency for the enlightened, a currency which signifies freedom and abundance. For you, maybe, mate. We believe that the market is ready for a currency based on truth, freedom, and abundance versus the antiquated US Treasury Federal Reserve option. What?
Oh, that's a bit mean.
I love the fact that he's the market is ready for a currency based on truth. I like that. That's a good one. This additional security is to increase the market's perception of the cybercoin, while providing important insurance needed if any art could be stolen, destroyed, or compromised. Not only are coin holders secured by fine art, security bonds, and rare antiquities, we're now adding some rare antiquities in, but coming soon, they will also be secured by a first-class museum set to house all Meta One assets, Meta One's Fort Knox Museum.
Where is this museum? I want to go see it.
I have no idea. It's going to be in the fucking moon at this rate. He also says that Metacoin holders can get into this museum for free, which is in itself is enough reason to go and buy the tokens, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. So if you were at all worried about where they're going to store their $2 billion worth of art once he's finished pinching it from around the auction houses around the world, it's going to be in their own Fort Knox style museum. So you can go along and visit.
To be fair, I would like to go and see that if it ever opens, if he ever does it. Like, if it was legit, I'd love to go and see that at some point. I think it'd be really cool. There's going to be our kids' drawings in there. Stuff we've taken off the fridge and thrown in the bin. He's gone looking around like, oh, that'll be good. I'll hang that one up.
Right. This is the clincher, though. So talking about, on this subject, talking about authenticity, right? Valuation of the art is paramount, isn't it? If the price of your token is based on the value of this art, the provenance of this art is paramount, isn't it? That's the key thing here. So, if you are setting so much store by the value of your art, what sort of people do you think you're going to have to value your pieces you're buying? There's all these different places you can go to get these artworks valued, right? Meta One has its own in-house forensics laboratory in order to determine the content and antiquity of material to the 1/1,000,000th of a particle.
That sounds a bit ambitious. I imagine the cost of that is extortionate. And I would say it's prohibitive of running your business economically.
That's looking into much more detail than I did. Like I was looking at it from the principle. He has yet again just thrown in, oh, by the way, we've got a world-class in-house forensics laboratory. We just happen to have one. We just built one for the case. We'll just chuck it in there right at the end. This is so far at the back of the white paper. Like, no one else in the art world has been allowed to use this forensics laboratory. It's only been created just for this shitcoin. And again, it can determine to 1/1,000,000th of a particle. What is that? Is that a thing? How does that compare to what others can do? And like you said, how much art are they buying where they need their own laboratory?
Exactly. That's why they got 500,000 transactions a second, isn't it? Because that's how much art they have.
It sounds to me like they've got, with all these smart contracts and this forensic laboratory, it sounds to me they anticipate some kind of conveyor belt. Art in, art valued, art out. It doesn't work like that.
It's like being at the airport, isn't it? You know, when you go pick up your baggage, just artwork appears through the hole in the wall.
It's nuts. And nowhere does he say that, none of this is verified on the blockchain, like his imaginary unicorn blockchain. None of that is verified on this. So they're buying this art, they're valuing the art themselves, which increases the value of the token to the number they just pluck out of the air, and then that goes in their museum.
Yeah.
It's everything.
Well, they're a alleged museum. I mean, they've got this space where they have their laboratory, but we can't see the art once they finish playing with it. I think that's a bit unfair.
It's all so secret. It's just this whole thing. Oh yeah, we do it all ourselves. No, you fucking don't. Shut up. It's just nonsense. There is a reason why you have professional, very experienced, independent art valuers. You know, you don't have people valuing their own art if it has a direct impact on the value of a side asset. You can't do that. How he thinks he can get away with that.
Exactly, there's a reason for that.
So I love the fact that he's got this in-house laboratory sitting in Switzerland somewhere, just waiting for this art to roll in. I love this idea. There's a truck backing up with this art on it, unloading on pallets. I mean, oh God. You know, you see the guys in vans on street corners sitting there doing nothing, reading the sun, scratching their ass. That's what these people are doing now in this laboratory. And I bet it's in fucking CERN or somewhere, just like sitting there. While these guys are finding the God particle, we're just waiting for some art. Just they're going to bring some art in soon.
Yeah, we're just renting this office space. You know, we're going to call it a super secret, secure laboratory with all this art equipment.
It's so James Bond. Well, shit, James Bond. It's just brilliant.
It is. Brown finger.
Ugh, mucky. That's the project. So you're getting a very clear idea. You're getting a completely confused idea of what this project claims to be. And we haven't even touched on the team. And this, we're going over here, but this, when I go through this team, we'll just pick up on the theme itself of where this is going. It gets weirder and weirder as this goes on. So the man that sent me this email, Robert Dunlap, he's the executive trustee and the global visionary. Brilliant. So as part of his bio, it says, after the dot-com boom and bust, which he was involved in, I didn't think he caused it, but he may have done. Robert's visionary abilities proved time after time as profound, and the market responded favourably. So what apparently is being said here is that he turned the tide of the dot-com crash. He didn't just do certain things at the bottom of the market, buy in at the bottom and see it come up naturally. He revived the market.
Oh, he invented those mortgage-backed securities, didn't he?
He invented lying.
He invented a lot of bloody things. He probably invented gravity and fresh water.
And as well, his life has primed him for the new world of blockchain. He has a clear vision of the modern economies and an abundance set forth for humanity. Complete bollocks, but just keep that in mind.
There's another part about him that I really love.
What's that?
So he's worked with several billion-dollar transactions and has worked in Zurich, Rome, London, New York, and Frankfurt. F-O-R-T.
Frankfurt.
Now, Frankfurt has a U. It's Frank, F-U-R-T.
Now then.
Frankfurt is a little town in Kentucky.
The plot thickens. That's where the museum is.
Yes, I mean, he's got all these massive cities he's worked in, and some little backwater town in Kentucky.
Oh, God.
I'm not sure that compares with Zurich, Rome, London, and New
That's
York.
fantastic.
He should have put fucking Tokyo.
I love how, again, they're appealing to fine art connoisseurs. They can't even spell fucking Frankfurt properly. All right, so his girlfriend, this Nicolebaudler, trustee, secretary, director of business development, she's got a fairly normal kind of biography, except for Nicole loves to match the global economy with the next big deal for humanity. So it seems at some point humanity, or whoever represents humanity, I wasn't aware we had one, has asked her to go out and do deals on our behalf with the rest of the world.
Is she the devil?
Well, she sounds like God. She's always on the lookout for what, for what will help humanity.
Her picture does make her look rather angelic, though, with that white blonde hair and the sun in the background where it's all backlit. Looks like, a nice halo is sat there somewhere. So maybe, fair enough. Maybe she is God.
You can imagine her like she's the emissary from Earth. She's going to Mars to do a global deal on behalf of humanity. You can see that.
Yeah.
You can see that. Now, who do you think I'm going to next?
I want to say Marianne.
Oh, before Marianne, you've missed out Wanda. You missed out Wanda Ironheart. Right. Oh, how can you miss Wanda? Right. Wanda Ironheart is the Senior Director of Operations. Okay, so she's a very senior person. Our first board member of Meta OneCoin and one of the founders, Wanda Ironheart is a shamanic healer and teacher. Wanda Ironheart, always in the third person, always teaches classes on the benefits of energy and conscious living. Conscious living, not unconscious living. That's really hard. He teaches conscious living. She's a gifted psychic healer that has learned the art of using her sharp intuition on everyday dealings to co-create the highest integrity life in business and her shamanic practice. Wanda is an experienced multi-dimensional healer. If you're looking for a senior director of operations and you go on LinkedIn and you stick a job advert on, I mean, that's pretty much what you're going to put, isn't it? It's so, I mean, okay, fair play to her. I have nothing against her doing that. She can do what the hell she likes in her spare time. If I'm investing my money in this project and that's the qualifications the senior director of operations has, fuck off. How is she qualified for the job? How did she get that job?
I have no idea.
Right, okay, so
like
so we have that, right? And then you've got Julius Israel, our sales liaison, with a lovely picture of him holding up the MetaCoin, the physical MetaCoin token. He's an entrepreneur with a purpose, passion, and vision to serve humanity by being a source of inspiration, providing entertainment, and creating systems of integrity that incorporate principles of higher consciousness for the highest good of all. What the hell is happening here?
They sound like a bunch of mates that have gone backpacking through Asia to discover themselves and really just discovered pop.
I mean, I was clinging on by the museum. I was clinging on. Now I'm off the edge with this. Where is this going?
He looks like a magician.
Yeah, he does. He does. Well, he says he provides entertainment, so he may well do. But I'm going to... Okay.
Just card magic.
I want to rattle through these because they just get better. So this is Katie Weir, Marketing and Business Development. Katie's intention for Meta One is to reach those who are interested in expanding into a space of freedom, empowerment, truth, unity, and well-being, and help them feel at ease, optimistic, and clear about walking this new path to create the life they desire and to live as their highest self. Fine art, gold, forensic laboratories, smart contracts, blockchain. What?
So she's been working in marketing for 6 years and she's only done 130 projects. Think about it, that's one project every 3 days. Is she working at the most unpopular marketing agency ever?
No, she's too busy spending her time making people feel at ease and optimistic about their highest self. If you do that, then you haven't got much time left to do your fucking job.
Yeah, she's always taking days off to go and help people find themselves.
Okay, moving on. Joyeroldan, Customer Liaison and Business Development. Joyce is an intuitive communicator and spiritual advisor. Of course she fucking is. Her commitment to integrity and transparency for all parties involved brings an energy of compassion. This further highlights her desire to be of service for the greater good of humanity, which enables her to establish solid relationships and add value wherever she goes. Jesus. It just keeps going. Right. Diana Hernandez. Oh, this is a good one. Diana Hernandez, accounting manager. Right. I want my accountant to be boring. I want my accountant to be fact-driven. I want them to be a very, head-down focused person with no flights of fancy. I don't want a creative accountant. I want a logical, methodical accountant. Her current focus is accounting, cash flow analysis, and budgeting. Her current focus. Tomorrow, who knows where she'll be? She uses her intuitive gifts to head the human resource management at her office. Not her qualifications, not her training, her intuitive gifts. In her personal life, of course, she's currently mastering the practice of energy healing. In joining Meta One, she hopes to help humanity achieve a better awareness of the abundance that surrounds us all. She is delighted to join the growing Meta One family of like-minded beings that have the betterment of the planet and its people at the forefront. What I don't get is how all the team are focused on the betterment of humanity and putting people at the forefront, but they don't want that. They want to run an exchange, a bank, an investment bank, a credit card, a debit card, a museum. Where's this betterment of humankind? It's not mentioned anywhere.
Yeah, they just want to become these spiritual healers by using your money.
But is this it?
To fund their rent.
Underneath all this, did they want to raise $4 million to start a yoga retreat?
That wouldn't shock me.
There's only two more here. One of them, Amy Sikowski, board member, very vague. Amy is a licensed vocational nurse. Oh, okay. So we've got an actual genuine qualification there, which is
fair
good.
enough. Yeah, someone with a good job.
And holistic health centre practitioner. God damn it. We were so close.
God.
We were so close.
How can you do both? That's like praying to Jesus before you do an operation.
I guess it gets better. She's a holistic healthcare practitioner specialising in the intuitive assessment of the human energetic system. What's that? What's the human energetic system? That's food. That's breakfast to me.
Yeah, maybe she's a nutritionist.
Well, she's a hypnotherapist, author, and instructor of energetic therapy and spiritual studies. Amy provides a unique ability to... Oh, God. I'm going to be sick. Amy provides a unique ability to linearize quantum heartfelt intelligence and materialize it into our physical reality.
What does that mean? Please, answer us on a bloody postcard.
That is what they're doing at this laboratory. They're linearizing quantum heartfelt intelligence to materialize it into our physical reality. It is James Bond.
It is.
It's fine being vague with your project to raise money, but why be vague at this point? Doesn't sell it. Doesn't sell anybody on the project.
No, it doesn't sell me. It doesn't sell me at all. I mean, if I want to sell my art, make sure my art's all safe. I don't care if these people care about planet Earth. I want to make sure they care about my art.
None of these people has showed any interest in fine art or cryptocurrency or blockchain or any of it. No one has said anything about it. It's just insane. Right. Can you scroll down to Melanie Nunnick, Business Development?
Yes.
Can you read hers out, please? This is the clincher.
Melanie Nunnick is a modern prophet of the new earth. Born awake, she is a life of mastery and embodiment as a feminine vessel in the West. She is here to shift human consciousness to continue life and evolution on planet Earth and beyond. Melanie has over 5 years of direct work in New Earth money by walking free outside of the old paradigmatic structures and maintaining abundant wealth by holding the presence of love for all. Her great diversity of access to the wealth of all allows her to share the presence of love in many forms and dimensions. She is often coaching exceptional beings to their next level and sharing magic with her immortal parlor of tricks. Vetted by masters and proven by the children, she shines for all who are ready to take the next step. Goddess blessings to all. May we all be abundant in divine union, presence of life here and beyond. The fuck?
I'm not here to shit on someone's beliefs, but that has no place in a business document.
It doesn't. It actually says I'm a magician.
It does. Her immortal parlor of tricks. What is that? Vetted by masters and proven by children. What does that mean? What can children prove?
Maybe she means she's like got a childcare diploma.
I have no idea.
You know, she was vetted by the scholars who taught her the course, and the kids said, "Yeah, you're quite good at this. Come back next week."
I have no idea. But it's her immortal parlor of tricks that's been proven by children. I mean, I don't.
Oh, I want to see some of her tricks.
I mean, so like that sums up the ludicrous, beyond ludicrous nature of this entire white paper. You cannot put garbage like that. Again, I'm not crapping over what people believe, what they do in their spare time. Do what you want. Use your immortal parlor of tricks to prove with children, whatever. But not in a business document where you're trying to solicit money for a fine art backed security token on a blockchain. Nonsense. Anyway, that is our take on the original Meta One white paper. Why don't you, Alex, talk us through what you've noticed from the new one and basically what has happened in terms of the legal side of things? What has happened since this white paper came out, since this project raised their $4.3 million?
The SEC had a bit of a shit fit and they shut down the coins exchange. So it's now no longer possible, it's supposedly no longer possible to buy or sell this Meta One token.
So hold on, the exchange was live?
There was some way of buying the tokens, yes.
Okay.
But now the SEC allegedly shut it down.
Okay. I'm surprised.
Prevented people and is preventing people from doing so. The SEC said that the defendants, so Meta One and everybody from Meta One, falsely stated that investors were purchasing a digital coin backed by $1 and $2 billion in art and another 2 billion in gold. So they made some changes based upon the feedback given by the SEC, such as Nicolebaudler, Baudler,
I know.
whatever her name is, I don't know how you pronounce that. She was giving out investment advice based on her spiritual experience.
Of course she was. I mean, how could she do otherwise?
I mean-
she couldn't do it on her practical experience. She hadn't got any.
So yeah, what they did was they reworked their whole white paper. They cut out a bunch of pages. It's now only 43 pages long. The images have been updated. I think they took your feedback there, Mark. They now feature Mahatma Gandhi, Abraham Lincoln, Nikola Tesla, Chief Joseph Goodcane Milk with this rainbow flag thing.
Why have they done that? They've literally, I mean, to me, it looks almost as if they've left the photograph out in the sun for too long. And it's
just started fading, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's gone like all these different warped, different colours. Why you've got all these amazing people? Why superimpose the rainbow on the back?
Exactly. If they just left it in a nice black and white photo, be perfect,
It would
be fine.
Yeah.
Because they got rid of all the crappy clip art. They've swapped it out for renderings of their exchange, their platform, their order book, their smart contract platform, their trust and administrators and beneficiary pages, and they've really padded it out. It looks better. It's just this rainbow crap that's it just bugs you. But in the wording, they've removed any mention of what the coin is backed by.
Oh.
So it no longer states that the coin is backed or guaranteed by all this art, gold, antiquities, any of that crap.
Okay.
And the only mention of assets that will be allocated is on page 9 with a nice picture of Nikola Tesla. It reads, Meta OneCoin Trust has a $2 billion asset fund that has been allocated to the fixed number of Meta One coins. As the fund appreciates and expands, the coin's value increases. Meta One smart contracts are used to assign assets to the coin and to appreciate the coin according to the actual investment returns.
What?
So they've cut out the numbers, the specifics. They've made it more vague. Because that was the SEC's biggest problem. It was that they were being too specific.
Right.
They were giving exact numbers of how much it's going to appreciate by based on how much art they would allegedly buy. Which, it makes sense, you know, because you can't say, okay, you're going to, if you invest in Apple, you're going to make the $600 guaranteed in 2 months. You can't say that. And that's what they were effectively saying.
You can say we hope it appreciates, but you can't make any assumption that it will, like, you can't state that it will go up. Like they say, as the fund appreciates and expands, the coin's value increases. That still sounds like they're promising returns.
Yeah, they are promising returns. They've just worded it very differently. They've made it more subtle, more sly. I would still say that this does break the SEC's rules on promising guaranteed returns, because they're still saying if we buy art, your coin's going to go up in value.
I think it definitely does.
Which isn't the case, because art doesn't always go up in value. Because you could think you hold the only one of a specific painting, but then suddenly someone else comes out with, you know, another copy of it, and it turns out you both got prints. You know, so then obviously your artwork's going to depreciate in value, and so is the value of the coin. So you can't just say the more art we have, the more it's going to be worth. They still left in other bits like your, was it 1 billion divided by 52 weeks and all that crap. It's still in there. It's much the same white paper. They've just shifted the order. They've tried to make it look different. They've added in a few more graphs to make it look like they fit in somewhere. And I don't know, they've even got a graph of token sales between January 2014 and August 2018. And their own bloody token doesn't appear on there. So, I mean, I really don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to say the ICO market is good. It's good for us all. Again, they just don't talk very much about their own project anymore. I feel like they've tried to dodge the SEC bullet, and they've done it in a really poor way. They've kind of shit the bed, and said, "Oh crap, we can't say this or this, but we still want to say this."
Mm.
So they found a different way to say it, but they're not saying it anymore. So it's just even more waffly, more in the air.
It's because they know it's backed by nothing. So you can't, if you were to strip out the lies, all you're left with is a roster of these spiritual guides and a breakdown of what blockchain and Ethereum is. So it doesn't make any sense. Although I do notice here, we've got a bit more about the blockchain.
Yeah, there's a bit more about the blockchain.
Is it
but still it's
graphene based?
not too, yeah. And then it just goes on about the NASDAQ exchange and how the NASDAQ exchange works.
It's still
the Metanomics overview.
Still so yeah. It's pretty much it's the same ethos, it's the same sort of theory behind the last white paper, just stripped down, some stuff taken out, new pictures and a different font. The moment you look in any kind of depth at any aspect of their offering, it just falls apart. All sounds lovely on the surface, but the moment you take any aspect of it and do a tiny bit of digging, it just crumbles because there is nothing to support it. None of the things they want to do stand up in any way at all. Still, even after all this stuff back from the SEC and a chance to revise the white paper to fit in with the guidelines, they still have nothing to offer but just dreams and powder puff. So what's the latest with the court case then?
So on April 21st, 2020, the court issued Robert Dunlap, as well as Clear International Trust and former Washington State Senator David A. Schmidt, in civil contempt. And they said that basically Dunlap and Schmidt will need to stop posting on YouTube, Facebook, any social media accounts they have, and to remove all content on there that related to the markets, offers, attempts to sell the coin, any false or misleading statements, such as the fact that Meta One owns $1 billion worth of art, any gold mines, any gold bar, or any other assets, in amounts sufficient to repay the Meta One investors that had dumped their cash in. So basically, if they fulfill those conditions, they get rid of everything. The court will just drop everything and let them go.
So it is of note then that on their YouTube channel, they've got hundreds of videos. You've got the latest video was 3 weeks ago. They were like 37 seconds of 45 seconds long. It's weird. And the little on the thumbnails, it says approximate monthly returns of 4 to 6%. The gold asset class brings a high level. It's all the same stuff they've been told not to do. But you've got the latest one is 3 weeks ago, and then you've got like 4 weeks, 1 month. It's like there's been like a mass reposting of hundreds of videos. It's the same videos over and over again. So they've obviously been completely ignoring the order, and then kicking off about the actions that have been taken. What do they expect?
Oh, and I guess they probably took COVID, a bit sort of, it's like, oh, okay, well, this has happened. The court's going to be closed. The SEC probably won't notice.
Yeah, who knows?
And, maybe they thought this is an opportunity to just oppose. But yeah, I mean, on May 5th, the SEC added an additional condition to say that the contempt is entirely justified, and that the fact that they refuse to stop publishing it's like they continue to harm investors and the public. So the courts are going to carry on pushing this through, and the SEC is going to take much more stringent actions against them. And
it's interesting because, we've been talking through this whole thing about how they seem to be living through the white paper. They seem to be living in this sort of this dreamland where there's no kind of reality. There's all your dreams come true for the benefit of humanity and this sort of thing, and the real world kind of can't touch them. And that's reflected in the email that he sent to me, because we come right back to that again, because that was in May they said that, and so there's still this action is still ongoing. And then since then they've reposted all these videos they've been told to take down, and then he's saying to me the case has been sealed, or call the SEC, they'll tell you it's been sealed due to its fictitious nature. That's a complete lie, and it's so easy to disprove, and I don't understand. I mean, is he mentally ill? Has he literally got no grasp on reality?
I mean, he must I don't know. I don't want to say he's got something wrong, but I think he thinks that a lot of people are stupid or they'll be afraid of the prospects of going to court. You know, if someone says, "Oh, if you don't take that down, I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to sue you." I think a lot of people initially panic
Mm.
and they'll comply. You know, it's like a threat.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, if you don't do this, I'll do this." A lot of people just do it just to avoid the conflict. They don't look into it. They don't think, "Oh, is this legit? Is this real?" And I think that's just what he's relying on. He's relying on the fear factor.
Yeah, and it's hilarious how someone who puts together an actual work of fiction then has the gall to tell me that the SEC's case against them is fictional.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's not really. I think having gone through the white paper and seen what action's been taken and what they have and they haven't done, it's pretty obvious that this was a scam from the off. And he's his own interest in this. He's defending it to the hilt, but unfortunately for him, in defending it so vehemently, he's only going to end up with it being worse for himself. He could have easily complied with all the stuff they'd said, yeah, okay, I admit this is a scam, taken it all down, but he just seems to be fighting it and
exactly. They didn't even say you got to repay all the money. They just said take it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
If he was a smart dude, he'd have been like, all right, fine, let's just take it all down. Give it like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years, where it'll blow over and just boot it up again under a different name.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they've not even done him for fraud, but he's walking into a fraud.
No, they've not done him for anything.
He's walking into a lawsuit if he keeps this up. He doesn't know how good he's got it, basically.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a lawyer, but my best advice for him is just stop it.
Yeah.
You're very clearly a scam. The world knows you're a scam. Stop trying to say you're not.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I mean, I hope anyone that's come across the name Meta One, I don't suppose anyone outside of the crypto space will have done, but anyone within the crypto space that's come across the name Meta One, I hope that if you've managed to get through this lengthy podcast, I hope that you know a bit more about it now and know why it's been on the receiving end of what it has been and just how much of a ridiculous nonsense it is, from the white paper to the legal action to his defense. All of it is just a complete sham, and I think we've done a fairly good job of exposing that for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, there was 4.3 million invested, and they're saying it was from around 150 investors.
That's not very
That's
many.
28.5 grand each.
Wow. So who are these people?
I don't know. If you've got 28 grand you don't want, you can always send it to me. I'll give you my bank details.
I mean, that makes me think that they have had some kind of in somewhere, because you don't I mean, obviously we don't know that that's exactly how much people paid. You could have one person put in like 3 million or whatever, but still it's not very many people. And it is a lot of money for that.
It's nothing.
And so
it's a lot of money for not many people.
They've had obviously some really, really big backers, and they must have managed to convince one or two huge backers to get involved in that.
I guess all it takes is for one or two people who are fairly wealthy, maybe they're art collectors, a bit older, and they just think, oh, I'm helping the art space.
Maybe.
It's not right. It's not fair. So, Mr. Dunlap, if you're a nice human, just give everyone their money back, you dirty scammer.
Well, this is the other thing. All the talk of humanity and betterment whilst stealing people's money
from people.
It's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think we've done enough damage to Meta One and their complete shambles of a white paper and a project. We hope you've enjoyed this rather special episode of the FullyCrypto podcast. We'll be back within the next sort of week or two with what will become a more normal kind of news-based episode. Who knows? We may even have an update from this to talk about. Maybe Mr. Dunlap, his 24-hour window that he gave me that I then gave back to him has expired, so he's late. But we'll see if he's emailed me, and we might have a reply from him. And I sincerely hope we do, because it's going to make for interesting reading.
I really hope he has. I mean, I hope he's, just skipped replying to you. He thinks you're a banana and he's taking you straight to court. You're going to get an email on Monday from like a court in Florida. Like, oh, you've got an appointment next week.
Until then, we'd love to know what you thought of this episode. We'll be doing these kind of deep dives every now and again. So if you can please give us some feedback on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook @FullyCrypto. We'd love to know what you thought. So until next week, it's goodbye from me, Mark Hunter.
And goodbye from me, Alex Mears.
And we'll speak to you soon.
Have a nice evening. Yeah, have a good one, guys. See you later.